everyone, and what the fuck? My hair looks crazy right now, so don't judge me. But hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Okay, so I know it's been a very long time since I last uploaded. I think the last time I uploaded was back in November, and it's currently February, so I do apologize for that because I don't know if there's anybody that looks forward to my videos, but if there is, I'm really sorry. I'm really trying to be more consistent, honestly. Like, I set goals for myself this year that I was gonna, try and make more videos and just, I'm a busy girl though. I'm working, I'm going to school, but there's no excuses. If you really want to do something and if you really love something, you will make time for it. So yeah, I say okay so many times. Okay, okay. You see, I was just about to say okay, so. Oh my god. All right, I'm done. Today, I'm going to be giving you guys a little story about my paranormal experience when I was younger. At the time, I was like, I don't know, maybe 9 or 10. This was years ago. I'm 18 now, so this was forever ago. Yeah, I was living in Central Florida, so let me just give you guys like the scenery of it. So here in Florida, in South Florida, like Miami and stuff, everything obviously is very like tourist attractions, traffic, people, whatever. And then where I was living at the time, it was in Central Florida, so everything was very secluded, kind of like to itself and stuff. So I lived in these apartments, and I was extremely sensitive as a child, and everybody, my entire family knew this. I was always crying for literally no reason. I was just a very sensitive, emotional little 9-year-old. I was just very emotional for like no reason. At the time, I had my own room, and my parents had their own room. So in the apartment where we lived, my room was always extremely cold, like freezing ice cold, right? So mind you, I had my own room, and my parents' room is right next to mine. So this is my room, this is my parents' room, and whatever. And then the living room is like on the other side of the apartment. So basically, I remember one particular night, I was sleeping, and I just remember it being so cold. Like, it was, my room is already cold, so now it's like 20 times more cold, and I'm like, why is it freezing? Like, it's ice cold right now. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I just remember being under the covers, and I was just trying to cover myself up to get warm, and I couldn't sleep. So I'm tossing and I'm twirling, and I just could not sleep. It was hours had gone by, just hours and hours, and I was still up. I felt like I had like insomnia or something. All of a sudden, I remember wind just fly across me, and I'm like, how is there any wind if I'm in my room? Whatever, I'm still staring at the ceiling, and then I just remember seeing like in my peripheral vision, there was like a little light. I don't know what it was, I don't know what it was. I sit up really quick, and then I kid you not, like, I will never freaking forget this. I kid you not. I see a little girl. I'm getting chills right now even thinking about it. But I see a little girl sitting at the edge of my bed. In my head, I'm like, bruh. Literally, I was just, I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just, creating images in my head. So then I couldn't move. I don't know if you guys know what sleep paralysis is, but it's exactly what it sounds like when you're sleeping, and I guess you see something, or something scares you, or your body gets into a shock. So when your body gets into shock, you're basically paralyzed in your sleep, and you're not able to move any bones, you're not able to get up. Like, everything just feels completely frozen. Everything feels still, like you can't move, you can't yell, you can't make any sense. It's crazy. So that's what I was experiencing. It's literally an indentation. You know how when you sit on the bed, your bed, obviously if you sit down, your bed indents. There was an indentation on the edge of my bed, and this girl was literally staring at me, like eye to eye, staring at me. I just remember I was not able to move at all. The girl was literally staring at me into my soul. This girl was staring at me into my soul, and I could not do anything about it. I couldn't do anything about it because I couldn't move, and I felt like I was yelling to the top of my lungs, but I was really yelling in my head because nothing was coming out, and I couldn't even open my mouth. It's like you can't even move a finger. It's probably the worst feeling I've ever felt in my entire life. It was that bad, that dramatic. So whatever, I just feel her staring at me, and it was probably for like, maybe I want to say about like 40 seconds, but those 40 seconds felt like 4 years. It felt so long. Like those 40 seconds of this girl staring at me and me not being able to move or to yell or to call for my parents, just, it was just horrible. I don't know, I felt hopeless. I was in shock. Obviously you fall into shock when you see something like that. So I was in shock, and then once I came out of that shock, I was like I just jumped. I just remember jumping out of my bed, and I'm banging on my parents' door, like literally just banging on my parents' door. And remember when I said I was sensitive and I would cry a lot? Well, my parents used to lock the door every night, literally, because I would always, every single night, come to their room to bother them so I could sleep with them. So at one point they ended up locking their door, which is, if you think about it, it's kind of messed up, but at the same time I understand where they're coming from because I was kind of annoying. I would always cry. So I was just banging on my parents' door, and my parents thought, like, I'm assuming that they thought, oh, you know, Andrea can't sleep, whatever, it's just another night of her not being able to sleep, of her wanting to come and bother us. I'm assuming that's what they were thinking. But no, literally I was like, it was like the little boy who cried wolf, you know. I would always cry, and it would always be for no reason, and this time there was an actual reason behind me crying and me being so scared. They didn't open the door for me. So they didn't open the door for me, and I ended up, like, I continued to knock and knock and knock, and it was like in those scary movies when like the door opens by itself. That's literally what happened. And right next to my parents' bed, they had this really big window, and obviously, as I said, it was raining. So when I kept on knocking, the door opened by itself, like really slowly. It just opened by itself, and then I was looking directly into this window, and I see the little girl shadow right next to my father. Oh, hell no! And like, so I'm looking at her, and then this lightning comes through, like right behind her in the background. It was like a movie, I promise you. My dad actually ended up seeing the girl as well. And then my dad fell into a paralysis, and I was also in a paralysis. So he ends up like tugging on my mom. My mom thought that we were playing a prank on her, but in reality, there's a demon in our house. I didn't even explain how the little girl looked. So the little girl, when I saw her, she was wearing a white gown, a really white gown, and she had really long black hair. And as I said, I didn't have a sister at the time. And this is gonna sound extremely crazy, but I remember the little girl looking exactly like my sister. You know, maybe it was her shadow, because I didn't really get to see her face, but I saw that she had really long hair. She was thin, and she was wearing this white gown. I don't know if you guys have ever seen, I don't know if it's The Ring or one of those movies, and that's exactly what she looks like. So whatever, I see her standing over my dad, and I'm like, I couldn't even yell. Like, at this point, I'm like, you know what? Not today, Satan. And then my mom like gets up and she's like, "What? Why are you guys bothering me out of my sleep? Like, I know you guys are playing a joke on me. It's not funny. Ha ha he he." And we kept on telling her that it was real, but she didn't want to believe us. Until one day, I don't know if it was the next morning or like maybe a week after that, she was cooking in the kitchen, and as I said earlier, the living room was on the other side of the house. So from the kitchen, you could look directly into the living room. So obviously we had couches in our living room, and my mom was looking, you know, just cooking, watching TV on the other side of the living room, and all of a sudden she sees a woman, like a grown woman, an old lady, sitting on the couch. There was an indent in the couch. and she saw the woman get up and just disappear into midair. So that's when she started panicking, she started freaking out. There's an actual spirit in our house, and I knew that the girl was evil. I could just tell. She didn't try to hurt me or harm me in any way, but she was just staring at me. So it was really scary, but I could just tell that she was evil. Like, I just knew. She gave me that energy that she was evil and just demented and just dark and whatever. So we actually ended up moving out of that house, obviously. A year later, the person that moved into that house dies in their sleep. They literally died in their sleep for like no reason. They just died in that room, which used to be my room. And the reason I know this was because it was my uncle's friend that moved in there. Uncle called us and he told us, yeah, well, this guy just died in your, you know, old room. And I was like, well, okay then. Okay, so, you know, RIP, rest in peace. And that house still exists today, and never do I ever want to go back to that apartment, nor do I ever want to step foot in it. It is, I know that there's something in there. There probably still is. And so when people say that like ghosts and things don't exist, I don't believe any of that, because ghosts do exist. Demons exist, angels exist, spirits exist. A lot of things exist, you know. We're not the only human thing, or not the only thing in this universe. There are things that we can't see in another realm, maybe in another world, another planet, but there are things. Like, I'm a firm believer that there's so much more than this little earth that we live on, and so much more than human life. You know, that's just my intake on it. I'm not telling you guys to believe that ghosts are real. If you do, you do. I'm just sharing my experience with it. So yeah, basically I lived in a house with a demon. Oh no, hell to the no, hell to the no. And she sat right in front of me and stared into my soul, and I made it out alive. So thank you, Lord, for that. I lived to see another 9 years. Thank God. So that was my story time. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope I didn't bore you. I thought it was pretty interesting. I know story times are not everybody's cup of tea, but if a story time's interesting, then I love watching them. So I thought it was interesting. I hope you guys did too. And if you like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and comment more ideas. If you have any ideas, or DM them to me, or Snapchat them to me. I don't know, because I really want to make more videos for YouTube. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you did make it to the end of this video, thank you, and I hope you liked it. Bye.